What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We're back with another video. Today we're watching Saiyan What If Goku Was Evil, Part 9, Supreme Saiyan Kakarot versus Black Cooler. Alright, Black Cooler. Today we're watching Part 9 and Part 10. And I can't wait to get into it, man. I already do enjoy the story, I ain't gonna lie. I'm so glad I re-picked it back up, I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, let's get into it, man. Make sure y'all get ready, get something to drink, get some popcorn, whatever, and let's go.
They can't find Cooler. They could sense him, but they can't see him. Everything has gone dark. It's like him transforming. It absorbed all the light from around them. They can only see brief flashes of him, illuminated by lightning storms generated by him powering up. And there's one other telltale sign. His eyes, glowing in the darkness. His aura, it's completely different too. It's not a light aura illuminating things. It's like a black hole. It absorbs light, negating it. And even through the darkness, Cooler could see the looks of terror on their face, briefly seeing them illuminated as well. Just the effect he was going for. And he explains, his brother never took their gift of power seriously. He did, especially with Frieza being some sort of mutant. He has no idea why Frieza didn't utilize that power. Of course, Cooler is still strong, with great potential, but he explained his potential is never as great as his brother. However, he's more than made up for it, and now he'll kill those same Saiyans that were able to kill Frieza. Or at least, one of them. In all honesty, he's glad that Frieza's gone, but frankly, he hates these Saiyans even more for killing him. He wanted to do that himself, if anything. And he just hates those Saiyans regardless. Cooler's not standing too far away from them. He lifts a hand up, compacts it into a fist, and then punches. A blast of compressed air pierces through the darkness, hitting Raditz and knocking him far away, with enough power to even knock him out of Super Saiyan. Kakarot's stunned. He didn't even touch Raditz, and with one shot, he was able to defeat him. It wasn't even a ki blast either. It was just air. He launched air at Raditz and defeated him. Kakarot assumes a battle stance. He's never felt this type of concern before. Of course, he knows Raditz is weaker than him, also using a weaker form than what he has. But still, what the hell is this? For him to defeat a Super Saiyan that easily, and as Kakarot's processing all this, two blue streaks of light pass by him, his only indication that Cooler just flew past him, besides the massive shockwave that follows, cracking the ground below him. The ground breaks below Kakarot, and he starts falling downwards. Ki blasts are launched from above, but they're not hitting Kakarot, they're hitting around him, digging deeper into the core of the planet. Cooler's trying to send him right down to there, destroying the planet along with Kakarot. Kakarot's able to jump up through the tunnel, propelling himself off the sides of it, desperately trying to dodge the ki blast as he does so. But as he ascends further up, one of them does hit him, and it's painful. It's a very casual blast from Cooler, but it still damages him a lot, sending him further downwards. Cooler stops for a brief moment. Lifting up a finger, he charges a supernova, but instead of it being orange, it's a dark blue color, actually illuminating the area in an ominous blue light, allowing Kakarot to clearly see Cooler up above. He launches it downwards, and Kakarot doesn't know what to do. He can't jump up through the hole because then he'd jump right into the supernova. If he goes downwards, he's going right into the core of the planet, which will either kill him or destroy the planet instantly. On a whim, he launches a massive ki blast to his side, flying through the crust of the planet,
Goku.
tunneling through and launching himself out far away. And he watches from a distance as the supernova goes further down, at an angle thankfully, not hitting the planet directly. But once again, blue streaks of light pass him. With no effort, Cooler moves so quickly that he essentially teleported over here. Kakarot feels a devastating punch to his back. All the wind is knocked out of him. He coughs up blood, and he almost loses his transformation, but he still stays fighting. Where the hell is Raditz? And then far away, he can see. There's a single golden aura in the darkness, launching over. Raditz is jumping back into the battle, injured, but still relatively okay. The two start attacking Cooler both at once, and with one finger, he blocks both of their attacks. And then lifting up another hand, flicking Raditz in the head, knocking him far away once more. The disrespect. He knees Kakarot right in the stomach, once again knocking the wind out of him, dealing even more damage. He'll deal with that weaker Saiyan later. For now, he's gonna kill Kakarot. And Kakarot's hopeless to fight against it. With every hit he takes, there's more damage, more pain to deal with. He's trying to fight through it, but it's just simply too much at this point. Kakarot de-transforms out of Evil Saiyan, now in his base form, and Cooler laughs. He finds it hilarious that these Saiyans aren't going to beat him. It seems he came here at the perfect time. Sure, if he met them a little while later, and they had more time to prepare, maybe they would have been able to defeat him. But Cooler's very glad he stumbled upon this planet, and if these Saiyans are any indication of the strength of Turles, he shouldn't have a tough time with that guy either. These two are just obstacles, mere appetizers for him. This fight is just a fun little excursion. He's solely doing it for the thrill of it, and the fact that these two are Saiyans after all. He needs to decimate them too. Kakarot tries to summon more power, trying to transform once more. The attacks are so brutal, but Cooler's actually holding back. Now that Kakarot's in base, he doesn't want to accidentally kill him with one punch after all. Kakarot can transform and tank a few more. And out of sheer rage and determination, he transforms into a Super Saiyan, not even realizing it. But this isn't enough. He knows he's in the form, but he needs to go into his Evil Saiyan form. Does he not have enough power to go into it? Or is he just too injured? Or is it the fact that he can't focus? Or all of those things at once? He's not even given a chance to charge up. Even in Super Saiyan, Cooler's able to completely decimate him. It makes essentially no difference. It's like he didn't transform at all. But Kakarot continues trying to power up. And once again, there's some light in the area. Not much, but just a little bit. From Kakarot's aura of Super Saiyan, a golden light shines through the darkness. But also, a red light appears. As he tries to power up into Evil Saiyan, the aura of that form begins surrounding him too. He needs to transform into it no matter what. He needs to push out as much power as possible, or else they have no other choice but to fight. They can't give up that easily. He can overcome these odds, and he will overcome these odds. And he tells Cooler he'll defeat him just like his brother, and he'll be the one to defeat Turles as well. That's his battle to fight. That's his prey, not Cooler's. Cooler won't rule this universe. Kakarot will. His aura flares up even further, with Cooler holding Kakarot by his hair, punching him right in the face. But Kakarot has no reaction this time. His face is scrunched up, with him grimacing, not even feeling the pain this time. Is it the adrenaline, or is it something else? The auras of Super Saiyan and Evil Saiyan mixed together. Kakarot's eyes, they change color, turning from the bluish color of Super Saiyan to a piercing red. His hair starts growing out, but it's not turning black like the normal Evil Saiyan.
They turn berserk.
It's retaining the color of Super Saiyan, actually getting a little bit darker if anything. Kakarot screams, unleashing one last burst of power. This actually knocks Cooler back. That's impossible. Okay, it must be a fluke. He was holding back after all, trying not to kill Kakarot instantly. But that was his biggest mistake. He hears Kakarot say he should have killed him while he had the chance, but now it's too late. Light has returned to the area, with Kakarot's menacing aura illuminating everything orange. Kakarot doesn't know what type of power he's unleashed, but he has a theory. He thanks Cooler for pushing him to this level. He accidentally mixed the two forms together. Out of his sheer drive to use more power against Cooler, he was already a Super Saiyan, powering up into an Evil Saiyan. Now remember too, Kakarot doesn't actually have a name for the form Evil Saiyan. We could call it something like Evil Super Saiyan, but that's a little too edgy, and Kakarot wouldn't know the name either. So, let's let Kakarot come up with a name. He decides this is a Supreme Saiyan, a level beyond Super Saiyan, but not Super Saiyan 2, something that he doesn't even know of. He feels it's a fitting name. It is still using the power of a Super Saiyan after all, so giving it a similar name like Supreme, he thinks
Supreme,
that's a good idea.
Okay, I can fuck with it.
Clashing, and now they're actually even.
Fuck with
Cooler can't believe it. How did he get this strong this quickly? And Kakarot simply tells Cooler he always had the strength within him. He just didn't know what the next step of power was for him. But now he's finally found that. The Supreme Saiyan. This was a level that he didn't even know existed, but he should have realized it before. Evil Saiyan, Super Saiyan, they were two completely separate forms, and now he's utilizing the power of both at once, as Super Saiyan, empowered by the fruit of the Tree of Might. And he tells Cooler, yeah, his new form may be powerful, and it may be flashy, or I guess the opposite of flashy because it doesn't illuminate light. But the point is, it's no match for Kakarot's form, and Kakarot's thrilled to have this power. But at the same time, he's elated to have this fight. Cooler asks Kakarot why he looks so cocky. He hasn't won yet, but he has a stupid smirk on his face. And Kakarot says it isn't because of that.
My boy
it's just that
Kakarot.
this fight is getting his Saiyan blood pumping. Of course, his objective here is to kill Cooler, defeat him once and for all. But at the same time, he can't help but have fun with this battle. Cooler's power is astounding. And now that Kakarot's able to finally match it, utilizing a brand new power on top of that, this fight makes him incredibly happy. And this only disgusts Cooler even more. These primitive Saiyans, their minds are only on fighting. If anything, he's doing the universe a favor by ridding it of them. And once more, he lifts a hand up behind him, charging another supernova, this one more massive than the last. Kakarot launches a volley of ki blasts at it, but it just gets absorbed by the attack, and the attack starts condensing into something else. The light produced from it, the ki that Kakarot's launching at it, it's negated. This thing, it's absorbing light, just like Cooler's form. This isn't a supernova anymore. This is a black hole. A fitting name. The attack shrinks further and further, but the power doesn't shrink. Both are named after the remains of a destroyed star, but this one, it's far more powerful. A fitting name for an attack collapsing in on itself. Kakarot closes his eyes, breathing in, and then he starts charging up energy. Cooler brings the black hole in front of him. Gusts of wind are generated around the area. Things are being sucked into it. This isn't just a flashy name, it's acting like a literal black hole. Cooler condenses it in front of him, bringing his two hands together, crushing it in between them, charging it with even more energy. The planet is collapsing around him, and using all of his strength, Cooler pushes the attack forward. Cooler laughs maniacally. Kakarot launches an attack, but it's just absorbed by the black hole. He doesn't know what to do. He can't destroy this attack, and it'll probably destroy the planet, killing them out in space. Not too far away, Raditz wakes up. He senses everything going on. What is this power that Kakarot's utilizing? And he looks up into the sky, seeing nothing. all light is being absorbed by the black hole, and Raditz can feel himself being pulled in by it. He doesn't know what to do, but on a whim, he takes the last bit of energy he has, granting it to Kakarot. Kakarot suddenly feels empowered. It's Raditz, lending him some more energy, and Kakarot has a single idea of what to do here. He doesn't try to counter this attack. Instead, he maneuvers around it, launching in towards Cooler at the highest speed that he can. He fakes out Cooler with a punch, and of course Cooler dodges it. But quickly, Kakarot charges up all the energy he can, shifting it into his fist. And just as Cooler dodges his fake punch, Kakarot then swings around, hitting Cooler directly with an actual punch, charged with all of his ki. And it pierces right through Cooler's chest. Of course, it's not enough to kill Cooler, and he laughs, coughing up blood as he does so. His race can survive much worse. But with another hand, Kakarot then launches a blast of ki at Cooler, except it flies right past him, into the black hole. The black hole grows larger and larger, with the planet succumbing more to it. Thankfully, they're basically in the atmosphere at this point, not too close to the surface. But if it grows any larger, the planet's gonna collapse in on it, and Kakarot tells Cooler he's not surprised that he could survive that. But can he survive his own attack? Cooler then feels a hand on his tail. Kakarot grabs it, swinging Cooler around as fast as possible. He tries his best to aim Cooler towards the black hole, launching Cooler towards his own attack. And to seal the deal, Kakarot charges one final ki blast, putting all of his energy into it. This pushes Cooler further and further into the attack, but Cooler laughs. As he flies towards it, he doesn't realize what's happening. He tells Kakarot it's only going to make the attack even stronger, but then he realizes he's hurtling right towards his own attack, and Kakarot's empowering it. Cooler tries to stop himself midair, but it's already too late. The beam of energy from Kakarot hits him head on, a supreme kill driver. It pushes Cooler into his own attack, with the black hole then absorbing Kakarot's ki. Although, the force of this actually pushes the black hole back. It grows larger and larger, but not too massive, flying out far into space beyond the speed of light. Cooler is torn apart by his own attack, and there's no explosion remaining from it. As Cooler is literally torn to shreds, he just becomes part of it, with the black hole flying farther and farther out, hopefully with it dying soon enough. But the planet's already taken too much damage, and Kakarot powers down. Raditz is amazed to see this. Kakarot's now 2 levels ahead, not just Evil Saiyan, but Supreme Saiyan. Although, they can't stick around here much longer. It's a shame. This planet was a nice little base of operations, but they're gonna need somewhere else now. As the planet continues to collapse, the 2 of them are able to escape just in the nick of time. Now, it's time for them to find Turles. First, they'll use the healing pods, and once Raditz gets his form, they'll move out and attack. Who knows what Turles is up to? But Kakarot's confident. Whatever this power is, the power of a Supreme Saiyan, he feels like Turles won't be able to counter it at all. Of course, he has no idea of what Turles is up to at this point, completely unaware that Turles has unlocked a new form of his own, an evolution of Evil Saiyan, but an evolution that occurred much differently than what Kakarot did. He didn't combine it with another form, he just evolved it far beyond where it was by using the same principles that got him that form in the first place, except utilizing the power of stars. He's amazed. The brilliant scientists were somehow able to plant a tree on a star, creating a plant that's able to survive in those conditions. Turles continues consuming more stars, literally consuming their energy, eating the fruits generated by them. He does have to pace himself though. He can't fully control the power yet, and he needs to make sure he can do so before he eats more stars. But he could tell, he's close to controlling this form, and with this great power, it's now time for him to find Kakarot. And it's good timing too. Far away, he sensed an amazing battle going on. He didn't know who was involved, but he sensed 3 energies, one of whom being Kakarot, one of them being a weaker one that seemed like it could be a Saiyan, and then one of them being someone he didn't even recognize. And he knew whatever the result of that fight, he'd probably have to fight whoever remains, and it seems that Kakarot was able to win. And Turles chuckles to himself. Looks like he's gonna get to see Kakarot again very soon. And this is where we'll leave off for now. I'm no astrophysicist. Let's continue going.
Alright, what if Goku was evil part 10, Star Eater, Internal Turles. Alright, let's get into it. I like that last chapter.
Around to other planets. There's not too many planets left in this area, but there are a few that allow Kakarot to plant some trees, getting some fruits of the Tree of Might for Raditz. And at long last, Raditz is able to access the Evil Saiyan form. Or, seemingly he can. His aura changes, but he looks pretty much the same. Maybe his hair grows a little bit longer, but he doesn't really look too much different. Kakarot dies of laughter from this, and Raditz is a bit embarrassed, but he could tell the power's there, so whatever. He doesn't matter what he looks like. Actually, this is better. He was handsome to begin with. But it doesn't matter how he looks. What matters is the power behind it. And now they feel confident to go and find Turles. Although, Raditz does want to get that Supreme Saiyan form, but he knows it's going to take a while. If it took that long for Kakarot to do it, especially with how powerful his Evil Saiyan form was to begin with, it's going to take a little bit longer for Raditz. So, it's best not to focus on that for now. They outnumber Turles, and most importantly, they should overpower him. There's no way he acts as a Supreme Saiyan too, right? I mean, he doesn't know about Super Saiyan. And, yeah, they're right, but he's got something else. The Neo Crusher Core keeps expanding, not only obtaining more soldiers, but finding more stars to plant trees of might on. The issue is, this process takes a lot longer than it did for planets. I mean, just consider the scale of the stars. It takes a lot longer for the trees to actually drain the energy from them. And another thing is, these aren't any normal trees. Rather than being easy to plant like the other trees of might, these are genetically engineered seeds that are somehow able to survive on stars. And it takes a lot longer for them to be planted, and a lot longer for them to actually grow fully. But the payoff is huge, and Turles is loving it. Also, in the meantime, he could spend that extra free time trying to train with this form, trying to gain more control of it. It's not like he should be overloading himself with these fruits after all. He needs to pace himself a bit until he gets full control in this form, which eventually, he does get some of that. And while the army is expanding, finding more soldiers too, Turles actually finds one who could be particularly valuable. But the army is a secondary focus for him right now. At the moment, he's focused on finding those other two Saiyans. After sensing their battle with Cooler, he definitely needs to do something about it. Thankfully, he has all the resources he needs, and he knows they'd probably still have some scouters, which might make it easy to locate and communicate with them. It doesn't take too long. With a crew of engineers trying to figure out how to actually contact these other scouters, they're able to track them down eventually, basically hacking into them so they can receive the messages from Turles. Of course, Kakarot and Raditz don't really wear these anymore, but they still do have them on the side. And Raditz notices one day, his old scouter's going off. Who could even be contacting him? That was only used with the Frieza Force. But Kakarot knows exactly who it is. It's gotta be Turles. He did take over the Frieza Force after all. And knowing their resources, it shouldn't have been too hard to track down those scouters. Kakarot actually destroyed his, but Raditz completely forgot about his since he didn't really wear it too much. But whatever, hindsight is 20/20, and what's important now is to figure out who's actually calling. And just as they expected, Turles is on the other end. He tells them, let's settle this, here and now. He'll do it alone. He's not going to use his army for this, he just used them to track these two down. He didn't even think to track their scouters until he sensed their power. That's what actually tipped him off. And he tells the two of them, they don't really have a choice. He knows where they are, so he's offering them to come here. Either they can head to where he is, or he could just come there and destroy everything. They're going to meet in battle eventually. But Raditz tells Turles, they're not stupid. And Turles says he knows that, which is why he knows they'll take this offer and come there right now. If they're worried about him somehow having other people come here to ambush him, that's not the case. He could do this all on his own. He doesn't need anybody else's help. If he did, honestly, that would be a huge blow to his pride. And if he ends up losing here, then so be it. He wasn't fit to command the universe anyways, but he knows he is, which is why he's so confident in this. And Kakarot attests this too. Even though he doesn't necessarily trust Turles, he does know for a fact that Turles would do this alone. This isn't a trap. This must be a legitimate invitation to a battle. And he does know where they are, after all. He would have come here already and destroyed them if that's what he really wanted. This at least makes for a more fair fight, more enjoyable for each side, and whoever wins, they'll feel the pride of legitimately winning a battle. So, the two Saiyans head out, not really knowing what else to do here. They don't have a choice either way. And they arrive on a deserted planet, one with a tree of might on it, but that tree is long dead. And of course, Turles is there alone just like he said. He greets the two, glad to see them, and to finally see Raditz again too. He's surprised Raditz even showed up, considering how he retreated against Turles and Kakarot last time. And Kakarot simply asked, what's Turles' angle here? He sensed their power, right? He knows how strong they are now. And Turles explains what he's been up to as well. They're not the only ones with a new power. And Kakarot asks, what, is he a Super Saiyan or something? Turles laughs at this. The Super Saiyan doesn't exist. To which Raditz responds by showing off Super Saiyan. Oh, well, it does exist, but doesn't seem too interesting in all honesty. Especially compared to Evil Saiyan and his new power. But he tells Kakarot, that power he sensed wasn't just Super Saiyan. He wants to see what form Kakarot's gotten, if it's any similar to his at all. He sensed that Evil Saiyan energy within it, and he says there's no point in hiding it from him. So, Kakarot transforms, showing off Supreme Saiyan. Turles says that's impressive, definitely different from the power that he has. You see, he has been planting more trees of might, actually, not on planets anymore. And Kakarot's confused. Where's he been planting them then? Well, let's just say he has a very brilliant army, at least in terms of the scientist, being able to genetically engineer new seeds. Seeds that are able to survive the condition of stars, mechanically being planted on there. Kakarot doesn't believe what he's hearing. So he's been eating the power of stars? Raditz immediately powers up upon hearing this, knowing they can't hold anything back. Right away, they need to go all out. And Turles reiterates what he said before. Just like he thought, they're smart. Well, they showed him their power, so he'll show his off too. A ring of red energy forms around him, slowly coalescing into Turles. First, he goes into his Evil Saiyan form, but something begins changing with him. His hair, it flows more violently than before. His tail and his eyes light up, as his hair continues changing. It doesn't just change color like a Super Saiyan or something. It changes its state of being. His hair looks like fire, freely moving just like fire. And then there's a brilliant flash of light, just like that of a sun. The planet cracks below their feet. What is he doing? And Turles laughs, telling them not to worry. The planet explodes, with the three Saiyans being flung out into space, on random rocks from the planet floating about. Raditz and Kakarot try talking to each other, but they can't. They're in the vacuum of space. And then they hear Turles in their heads. He tells them an interesting tidbit. He found this out on accident, actually. Are they surprised that they're surviving out here? Well, turns out with the power of an evil Saiyan, it seems they can actually survive in the vacuum of space. That's not too surprising. They've evolved far beyond a Saiyan's limits, so it's no wonder that this is possible as well. He discovered this on accident while eating fruits from stars. I mean, he could survive the power of a star and actually survive on the surface of one, which showed him that he could actually survive in the vacuum of space too, being able to breathe out there. Kakarot and Raditz wish they knew that before, and Turles tells them. That's why he was able to ascend beyond them. He's able to recognize all the different pieces of this form, what it allows him to do, the abilities it grants him, which allows him to go beyond its limits. He knows far more than they do, and he's far stronger than they are. He launches towards the two of them, with Turles turning to an orange streak of light. They each feel a powerful punch to each of their guts. As they're launched across this solar system, this power, they can't believe it. Raditz is flung into a nearby moon, with the moon exploding on impact as Kakarot tries to stop himself out in the vacuum. This is unlike any other battle he's been in before. He's never fought in the vacuum of space. It's such a wide open area, and it's so easy to lose track of it if you can't sense somebody's power. But it's not easy to lose track of Turles. They can see him glowing brilliantly in the vacuum, with the power of stars flowing through him. Like I said, I want to have a little bit more fun with this what if. New forms, they're completely fair game. Kakarot tries launching back in towards Turles, with Turles effortlessly dodging every attack. Kakarot can't sense it or hear it, but he sees something flying behind him. He jumps out of the way, as all pieces of that exploding moon fly right towards Turles, with Raditz flinging each of them towards him as a distraction. He flies back over to Kakarot,
flinging moons at a nigga?
mentally.
Hell
He
no.
doesn't really know how to do so, but he figures it out. Looks like they're gonna have to talk like this from now on. They see a brilliant glow not too far away as Turles completely melts all those pieces from the moon. They hear his voice in their heads again. This is becoming fun. He powers up fully, launching in towards Kakarot, grabbing him, with the two of them then hurtling right towards the nearby star. Raditz tries to follow. He's not quick enough. Turles is too fast for him. Kakarot struggles to move, but he picks up a hand, launching a blast point blank at Turles' face as they hurtle right towards the star. With the two of them landing on the surface of it, the gravity here is insane. And the heat too. But with these forms, they can handle it. But it does make the battle tougher. Raditz flies in too, feeling the effects more so than them. Damn it. Even with the great powers of an evil Saiyan, he's still behind them. He can't do anything to help. He can still move, but he's a lot slower than before with the gravity. And he watches hopelessly. Turles is beating up Kakarot, and Raditz needs to do something quick. He doesn't know if he can even help here, but then he sees something. He sees why Turles brought Kakarot here. In the distance, he sees what looks like a giant structure, and it becomes clearer to him. Through the flames of the star's surface, he can kind of make out the image of a tree. This is way too crazy for him. He tries to fly over to that. It's massive, even more so than the trees of might that they've seen before. It's insane. There's a huge mechanical structure around it. And the tree looks like no normal tree either, so this is how they're able to get them to work. But he knows what Turles is trying to do. He's here in case he needs another fruit from this. And as Raditz flies over, he's hit by a blast from Turles, launching him right into the tree.
Damn.
But the force of this actually shaking him as Turles flies over. So he sees Raditz has figured out his plan. It's not like he could do anything about it though. And after the tree shakes from this collision, a giant fruit drops from above.
Damn.
Well, relative to the tree, it's pretty small. But compared to the normal fruits that he's seen, it's massive. It's like the size of a watermelon. Turles is about to catch it as it falls, but then Kakarot hits him right in the face, coming back into the battle. Turles fumbles to try and grab it, but he drops the fruit due to Kakarot's distraction. Quickly, he launches a blast at it, knocking the fruit far away. He'll get it later. He just can't let Raditz get to it. As he flies back in towards Raditz, but with Kakarot grabbing Turles' leg, trying to pull him back. He tells Turles, focus on this fight. Let them settle the score. Turles is infuriated, and he's far above Kakarot, so he tries to get away as quick as possible. And he looks back to see. Raditz is gone. It's tough, but he's flying away, trying to find where that fruit went. He saw where the blast flew, at least the general direction, and he sees a divot it left in the star's surface. Everything is so bright around here too. This makes it even tougher to see. Thankfully, from being as powerful as they are, their eyes aren't just completely melted from being on this star. But still, it's not something that they can overlook. And Raditz can vaguely make something out. A dark red object on the surface,
Okay.
being flung around
Come
by
on,
all
Raditz,
the
get that
flames.
shit.
It's the fruit. But he knows if he gets it, he'll show it the location of Turles too. So he flies over to its general direction, but not right towards it. And Turles then launches over, quicker than Raditz can register. He looks around too, but can't find it. And he sweeps his arm at Raditz. In the nick of time, Raditz tries to adjust himself just to the perfect angle. He knows he can't avoid an attack from Turles, but he does know what he can do. Use it to his advantage. Turles doesn't know where the fruit is, but Raditz does. He positions himself to take the hit, making it look like he's naturally flying over to where the fruit was thanks to where Turles knocked him. And the attack is painful, but Raditz coordinated this. He's knocked right towards the fruit, and in one swift motion, he reaches out to grab for it. And Turles sees, but it's already too late. Quickly, Raditz takes a giant bite of it, trying to eat it whole, with a massive blast then coming from above as Turles knocks him out of the way, disintegrating the rest of the fruit too. Kakarot flies in too, trying to distract Turles once more, and then sensing a huge increase in Raditz's power. They can barely see it because the star is already flaming, but a huge pillar of fire shoots up nearby, and it's not natural from the start. It's something else, and Kakarot smiles, telling Turles it's over now. Turles is furious, but whatever, he'll finish off Kakarot right now. He doesn't need to enjoy this any longer. It doesn't matter if Raditz has obtained the same power. As long as he can kill Kakarot, he'll overcome Raditz as well. Kakarot tries to launch a point-blank kill driver, with Turles launching the same. His overpowers Kakarot's, but Kakarot tries to push it back as much as he can, and a blast comes in from his side, knocking both the kill drivers out of the way. And he sees standing there is Raditz. He can't control his power, he can't contain it at all, but he's using the same form as Turles. And of course, it's not on his level. He only ate one whole fruit, while Turles has been going around eating parts of many fruits. He paced himself too. Raditz didn't hear. Maybe Raditz will just blow up from not being able to contain all this energy, being destroyed by the very power he's trying to possess. And Raditz is fighting through it, trying to utilize the power, but he doesn't try to resist it. He lets it overflow out of him. It's the only way he can survive it after all. And he has the perfect place to channel it into. He needs to get rid of this power quickly too, before he dies from it. Quickly, he launches a full power Shining Friday at Turles, but it's much stronger than he ever expected. His power is completely unrestrained right now, and Turles blocks against the attack, taking some significant damage from it too. And he sees what Raditz is doing. He's trying to mitigate the effects of it by using all the power at once, letting it overflow out of him. He's not trying to contain it at all. Instead, he's letting the power do what it's trying to do. Escape Raditz's body in any way possible. Raditz continues launching these supercharged attacks at Turles, launching it at full speed with nothing in between. He needs to continuously expel this energy if he wants to survive here. And Kakarot watches on nearby. He can't believe it, seeing Raditz this strong, and that form. It's amazing. Raditz has actually surpassed him, and he's actually kind of happy to see that. He looks over at the tree. There's no other fruits on there. That would have been useful for him to get this too. But as he looks over at the tree, he also sees something else nearby. There's a ship floating far out in space. Kakarot can barely make it out, but he does see it. It's floating right over the tree, and he sees a brilliant green glow coming from it. What the hell is that? As Turles is fighting Raditz, he tells Raditz it's no use. That power is going to run out eventually without him controlling it. There's a few outcomes for this battle. 1. Raditz's power runs out, and Turles regains his advantage, since he's actually controlling his power. And that way, Turles wins. Raditz says he'll simply just not let that happen. But Turles says he's forgetting another thing. Turles has a whole army with him, and he has some contingency plans. And Raditz laughs at Turles. What, he's going to try to retreat or something? That's the same thing that he made fun of Raditz for. And Turles says he did have this contingency plan, and he didn't really want to use it, but it's still better to have it just in case. He's not too pleased by this either. It's like he said before, if he loses here, then so be it. It kind of irks him, but at the same time, it's expected that his army would look out for him. He should have killed them quicker, but instead, he was enjoying his time pummeling Kakarot. Had he not wasted any time, he would have prevented Raditz from getting that fruit. He let the battle get into his head. And because of that mistake, he's glad he had this contingency plan. Raditz looks up, then seeing that same green glow that Kakarot's seeing. Kakarot flies over, trying to grab Raditz, telling him they need to go. And Turles looks up laughing. He jumps up out into space too, saying his goodbyes to everyone. He'll see them again very soon. Maybe he shouldn't have done a 2v1. Maybe it should have been a 2v2 to make things more balanced. Kakarot and Raditz have no clue of what he's talking about, but they fly off. What is Turles implying? That he has some sort of ally with him that could have helped here? The green glow hits the star, as it starts rumbling. Kakarot and Raditz try to fly as quickly as possible. They can't even go back to their ship because that got destroyed with the planet. They actually have no clue where they're heading right now. They just fly out into the vacuum of space. Raditz expels all of his power, trying to use it to fly as fast as possible, trying to get Kakarot to let go of him, and instead of grabbing onto Kakarot and dragging him behind. And Kakarot gets a glimpse of the star as it's exploding, and right behind it, he can see Turles flying up to his ship, with the ship narrowly escaping. He's getting too far away right now. He can't make out any individual figures, but he can sense somebody else's power. It's just like they thought. Turles isn't alone. He does have some sort of ally, and his energy. It feels like that of a Saiyan. But that makes no sense. What other Saiyan is out there? And as they fly off into space, they vaguely hear Turles in their head once more. Turles apologizes for being so rude. Next time, he'll be sure to introduce him to his new friend, Broly. The star fully collapses, with each side being able to barely escape. And as Raditz and Kakarot fly out randomly into space, having no clue of where they're going, this is where we'll end off for now. What'd you
Okay, wow, this is definitely way different from other stories. Like, he adding some other stuff. Like, I ain't never seen a story like this. So, shout out to Saiyan for this video. What if Goku was evil? You know what I'm saying? I know we still got like a few more parts left, so you know what I'm saying? We're about to run it up for real. But make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Check out the last chapter right here. Check out another what if story right here, and I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.